Hi everyone, this is Padmaja. Well, today I would like to take a session on software testing and how actually in general real-time scenarios, real-time testers, uh, how they face the situations in the corporate companies. So I would like to discuss all these things and I would like to explain about what are the testing phases and what are the methodologies that we use during testing. So let's discuss in this video. Okay. um, well, testing life cycle. See, we all know about SDLC life cycle, right? Software development life cycle. So in that, testing is one of the phases. Like how development phase is there, like how environment phase. In that way, testing is the most important phase because as soon as developers develop applications, with if we are if we are delivering the applications without any testing, and if the clients face some issues during uh, production phase, so then what is the what is the use of developing the application? We should always provide a good quality to to the clients because they are paying us, right? And we have to do our job dedicatedly. We have to provide, we have to put all our efforts in order to uh, give the test effectiveness, means in order to provide 100% testing quality. So before submitting the product to the client, what we need to think like whether the product is qualitative or not, whether proper testing has been done for the application or not, so that no errors we face in the production phase. Our target is like testers are we always target for zero errors before pre-production. I mean before production phase, means a pre-production phase. We'll expect zero errors, and then only will ask developers to deploy it. So in the SDLC lifecycle, as I told you, testing is one of the phases, right? Okay. So what in this testing phase, what we are going to do? For example, we developers are done with the application development. Okay. One of the experts, myself, I worked as a tester. I started my career as a tester. What we have done is like, um, there will be an expert in the team, like for example BA, or not BA exactly, even in the functional testing team also there will be some expert who have some experience on the functional, who has very good knowledge on the functional, functional wise. They're calling the subject matters experts, SMEs we used to call them. So that SME, they're going to sit with the developers once, as soon as they complete the development of the application. They'll sit with them, and first they will do the, after completion of the unit testing by developers, the first and foremost thing, SME will do the developer integration test along with the developers. They both discuss each other. This is the best practice I'm saying, because since I worked in Accenture company, so we followed these approaches. So the same I'm telling you, so that it will be helpful in your career as well. So after completion of that, first I'm writing here what are the types of testing we have done. First thing, dev integration. Dev integration. So that's what SME will do. We will sit with the developer, and because SME will have overall knowledge, requirement knowledge on function on the application, complete application. So for example, or 1.1 is the 1.0 is the first release. Okay, that's the baseline understanding of the application. In the next release, people like SMEs, what they will understand, like whether the newly added requirements perfectly they have added correctly or not. They used to test the existing functionalities and at the same time new functionalities as well. So they have to be very careful, so they have overall knowledge on the application. So that's the main thing. That's why SMEs plays a very important role here. Okay. So they, once dev integration is also done, then what will be done by the testers. We'll do smoke test. So some people used to call it as so we used to call it as a smoke test. Um, some people used to call it as a sanity test also, because here what we have to do is whether overall functionalities, basic functionalities, the common functionalities are working or not. We are going to test. We'll do one round of test, complete test of the application, and then a dedicated tester will do this. Okay. Again, this for this also, tester will have equal knowledge. He should have a tester should have equal knowledge um, when compared with SMEs. Whatever SMEs is having the knowledge, the equal knowledge he also should have. Whoever doing the sanity test or smoke test before start of the system testing. So then after successfully completion, okay, now as an SME, I have done my dev integration testing, and I asked one of my testers who is also an expert, another expert in understanding the functionalities and who have knowledge on overall application, and I'll ask him or her to do sanity test or smoke test. Okay, Mr. A, go and check, go and do the smoke test and give the report and publish the report to the overall team. So in saying that, I'll publish the report in such a way that these functionality is working fine, since that is a basic functionality, and the other functionality is working fine, yes. And integration part also, okay, I'm able to interact with so and so application, I'm able to interact with so and so application, so these integrated URLs also working fine. So in that way, I have to test my application, I have to do a small sanity check, and then I need to publish the reports. So this is the second one. And after completion of the smoke test, we'll ask all the testers to do system testing. Okay, this point I've already added below. Okay, system testing is my third phase of testing lifecycle. So this is the actual testing, I must say. See, as an experienced person, I'm saying, real-time experienced person, since I worked in one of the CMM level 5 companies, so I have very good knowledge on these things, on these stuffs. So what we did after completion of all these things, before going to start with the system testing, we need to analyze like what all cycles are required for the system testing. In our project, we executed, I mean, we have done 2 cycles actually. So when I say cycles, this is a terminology, you need to understand this terminology. When I say cycle means, in a cycle, they'll identify, I mean, environment team, what they'll give us different environments. For example, testing environment is different, okay? Testing environment is different, okay? And one more is like production like environment. And when I'm saying product, it's not exactly production, but production like environment, which is exactly resembles the real production environment. Okay, so like this, I'm just giving you the examples, but in general, in one cycle, we have tested all the scenarios or test cases, whatever we have written. We have whatever the test plan was there with us. So everything we have executed, all the test cases we have executed in cycle 1. For example, in cycle 1, using some testing environment, for example, I'm considering cycle 1 is my testing environment, okay, and cycle 2 is my one second. Cycle 2 is my production like environment, okay. Okay, then for example, 50 test cases I have executed, okay. The same 50 test cases I'm going to re-execute again in production like environment as well. So you may ask me a question like, this is like time wasting. Okay, time waste is fine, but that's why we have very good functional team members. Functional team is very big for us, because we should always think for quality of the product. It's a time waste and everything, something. No, clients always look, they're always looking for best quality product. Okay, in order to provide them best quality, we should always aim for test effectiveness. Okay, see, at least as a tester, I always tried for 99.99999% test effectiveness, because that's how we are going to provide the quality to the client. That's what the good relationship between client and the team members, it's going to establish. Good relationship is going to establish, and we'll get more projects or more requirements also based on this belief on us. Okay, so that's in that way. Not only managers has the responsibility to deal with the clients, right? As tester, I have a responsibility. As a test lead, he should have some responsibility. As a team manager or as a team member, he should have his responsibility to achieve the deadlines, timelines. Okay, we should always target for two things, my friends. First thing is like quality, and second one, speed. See, quality, providing quality is also good thing. Okay, but we have to stretch ourselves sometimes if it is required. Okay, if it is required, definitely we have to stretch our time. We have to spend more time in order to submit the deliverables within timelines. Please note this point. Deliverables within timelines. This is our target. We always target to these things. Quality is very important, speed is important, and we have to submit with a good speed. We have to complete all our test cases. Yes, now I'm telling about my cycles. Why we need to test in these many cycles? That's because I wanted to improve the efficiency of my testing. I wanted to improve the quality of my product. For example, in cycle 1, in testing environment, um, I found 10 errors. Okay, for example, 10 errors I found, 10 defects. Sorry, let me name it as defects. This is the good terminology to use. So they have rectified all these 10 defects in the cycle 1, since I have reported it. Okay, coming to cycle 2, now I'm expecting these defects, it should not be there in the cycle 2 testing, because they have improved, and again they have deployed it in the production like environment. Okay, so this time I'm not expecting those defects, but still, apart from these 10 defects, I got some other different defects. For example, 5, but those are related to, not to the application, not related to application, but they are related to environment. So most of you may not know about environment related stuff, because friends, you always know about development and testing, developers and testers. What about the environment team? Because I worked in a project in which because the manpower is huge. Okay, we are around 100 people. We worked for that project. So each and every team, like for the development team, has more resources, and testing team has more resources. Environment team is also there, where they are going to deal with some issues, some environment issues. There are certain environment issues. I'm not going to explain deep down now, but please try to understand. There are certain environment related issues also, some configuration stuff, something, because environment to environment, there are certain things going to change. So that's why we are doing testing, both in testing environment and production like environment. And why we are doing production like environment? Because it resembles production. So we are just avoiding, if any defects comes up, we are going to resolve it during production phase, pre-production phase itself, before going to production. That's our aim. Okay, hope you understood this point. So again, I'm saying, we always target for, we don't want to see, we have to love our job, friends. We have to love what we are doing. We have to show interest in what we are doing. We are taking salary, right? So we have to be very responsible. Okay, we should not think, say, how many times we have to test, how many times we have to do the same thing. Okay, application wise it is good, but environment wise you may get some error, right? We should avoid those things. We should be very careful while submitting our product or deliverables to the customer client. So always think about these two things. Do so this comes with experience. Speed means well-known functional tester who has very good knowledge on overall application. At the same time, a person who has knowledge and who has knowledge on some tools what he's been using, so he can maintain good speed. Okay, and with quality. Of course, we are doing with some speed in order to meet the timelines, but at the same time, please maintain quality as well. Um, Even my friends, these two things are my assets. Even I got appreciation from my senior managers, senior my test leads, team leads. Everybody appreciated me because I have these two assets. Functional tester, functional testing job is not so easy job. Okay, as you think that test case has been written and we have to execute the test case, it's not like that. It's something different. It's something interesting way of testing the application. If you show that interest, you'll definitely find more defects and you'll definitely provide your application with more quality to the developers, sorry, to the clients or customers. Okay, so you have to think about these two things, and we have to meet our timelines. Within timelines itself, we have to submit our products. Okay, we have to be very careful in those things. Hope you understood. So after unit testing, let me repeat it what I have explained till now. Let me brief it now. So after unit testing completed by development, SME is going to sit with developer integration. Sometimes developers only will do dev integration. It depends on the project, team members and companies also. But what I have experienced, I'm just explaining all those things. Okay, so after dev integration, this is the actual testing starts with the testing team. Okay, smoke test or sanity test we are going to do. We are going to test the application in an overall way, like everything is basic thing function working or not, and we'll say go ahead to the testers, just start testing. So because the result shows green, so you can go ahead with your testing. So then actual system testing starts, wherein if we want to use some environments, we have to use and we have to make sure no defects raised. Even if it defects raised also, zero errors, no, zero errors noticed at the end, because they have to be fixed by the developers at the end. Properly, we have thoroughly tested everything, and so system testing is also over. Now comes to the regression part. Regression testing is something like we are re-executing the test cases for each and every release. For example, in release 1.0, I'm going to give you the example of regression testing. Okay, release 1.0, we'll identify some test cases for regression phase. Okay, so these are like common functionalities in which, even though a new functionalities comes up, because we always target for the next release, we have to do the plan in such a way that we should be be in a position to handle the new requirements as well. Because in 2.0 or 2.0, what will happen? New requirements will come, right? New requirements or 2.0. So when new requirements added to the existing requirements, existing functionality should work. At the same time, new requirements should work, and new requirements should not disturb the existing functionality. That's what we are going to check in our 2.0, right? Even though the very good point is like, even though new requirements added, common functionalities should not get disturbed. That's what we aim for here. Okay, so even the new requirements has been added to the existing functionality. The common functionalities means, for example, login gateway, login or something else, what is that, interface between two applications, such things, there are certain things like in the application. I'm not, because if you have the example, if we have the example, I would have explained in a better way. Since I didn't take any application now. As of now, I'm just explaining in just in words. Uh, please please try to understand what I'm trying to say. Even though new requirements has come up in the next release, existing functionality should not get disturbed. So existing, I mean to say not all existing, especially the common functionalities. Those functionalities should be common for even for or 2.0 as well, not only or 1.1 or 2.0. So those again, that's why we are doing whatever the cases that we have chosen, test cases we have chosen during or 1.0, same test cases we are going to test and execute during or 2.0 as well. Again, or 3.0 also same test cases we are going to execute, because we have to make sure that existing functionalities, sorry, let me increase the font. Sorry for the interruption. Let me increase the font. Okay, here we have to make sure that existing functionalities should not get disturbed. Okay, so that's we are aiming for. That's why we are doing regression. You may hear about the term retest as well. Retest I'm going to explain in the next slide in the defect management tool. But here, try to understand the regression. People, if you face interviews also, you may get some confusion, like while explaining the terms about regression and retest, because they're always expecting this answer. Okay, so this will be helpful in your interviews also. Regression means this is what re-executing the test cases in each and every release, whatever we have identified during baseline. Okay, so now let me explain you. Okay, retest means the term which is going to be used in the defect lifecycle management. I'm going to explain in the next slide. Okay, but before that, at the end, so even regression is also complete. Now we are ready to give the product to the individual tester who is going to do this UAT testing. Okay, this UAT, I think you all know about UAT testing, because usually in our project, a person who is from the client side, who has extremely good knowledge about the application, he is going to do this UAT testing. If that is also passed, then only, if the results from the UAT testing is green, then only they'll go for production. We are going to call it as go live. See, please remember all these terminology, friends. These are very, very important terminologies, because in interviews always expects from you these terminologies only. Okay, let's come to the next thing, defect lifecycle management. See, during test execution, this plays a very important role, because finding defects gives more strength to the testers. Okay, at the same time, it gives developers always used to afraid also, because what kind of errors testers are throwing us, how to solve these issues and how to deploy it again, it's a big headache for them. So always a fight between developers and testers here. Okay, so testers wants to find more defects, developers want less defects, but the quality of the application should be fine. So in that way, they used to fight each other. So coming to defect management, what is happening is like, we have so many tools. Like in my career, I have used TFS mostly. Most of the projects they've asked us to use that TFS only. In one of the projects, I have suggested them to use RFT, Rational Functional Tester, in which we are following some agile methodology in order to because okay, I don't want to explain about RFT now, but okay, that we have used that tool also for the defect management. So what exactly defect management talks about, I'll tell you one example. I'll tell you the actual process, how the procedure goes on. For example, we have, as a tester, I have written scenarios. For each scenario, I have written cases. So everything is done, is there for me. Based on the test plan created by my test lead. See, test plan is ready. Then test scenarios are ready. Then test cases are ready. Okay. See, system testing, everything. Testing phase is done. Testing, test execution now. During this test execution, what happens? During test execution, see, during test execution, for example, I found some error, a defect identified. Okay, so then what going to, we need a tool in order to log the defect. Okay, what we will do, for example, TFS, Team Foundation Server, I'm going to log a ticket for that. So with the new status, a defect is raised. Okay, then we'll assign it to the some developers, and then what will happen, developers will resolve the issue and they'll make the status as resolved. And again what they will do, they'll reassign to testers. Whoever raised the defect, he'll reassign it to tester, same tester, or some other tester also, but we have to reassign to the actual tester, whoever found the issue, because he has a good information about the defect, right? So we have to choose that tester only. Okay, now tester, what he will do, he will retest. So this is the term I'm talking about. I was talking about in the previous slide. In the previous slide, I was talking about the regression, right? What is the difference between regression and retest? This, I think this is the answer for the retest. So the retest system where we will use during defect management, defect tracking. Okay, so here we are retesting the already existing defect. Whatever the defect we have raised, we are retesting the functionality and then checking whether that functionality is working or not. Retest to check functionality is working fine or not, as expected. Okay. Okay, so this is what, again what will happen. Okay, if everything is good, if it is green, if it is working, we'll change the status to closed. If not, because if it is not working, we'll reopen the defect. Okay, this is the actual procedure that we used to follow during defect tracking management. Okay, hope I have introduced you about what is software life cycle, software testing. I mean, in SDLC life cycle, how testing phase plays a very important role, and what are the phases that we used to follow during during testing phase in general. Okay, what are the phases, what are the actual phases, and what we aim for, quality and speed. Okay, we have to always provide our deliverables within timelines. We have to reach our timelines, targets with the proper quality. Okay, all these terminologies I have explained you, all the phases of the testing life cycle, and what is the defect management, defect tracking tool also. So friends, if you have any questions, if you have any queries, or if you want to suggest me something, I'm ready to accept even, because since I have 7 years of experience in not only in the software testing, few years I worked in Accenture, and later on I worked as a AWS developer as well. Even so, I have very good knowledge on all these platforms, whatever it is, because respective of the video that I'm posting, not only on the testing side, if you have any questions on AWS, if you have any questions on performance testing, I'm going to post performance testing videos soon. I'm just my plan is still in progress, so sorry for the delay, because I couldn't post some videos these days due to some personal works. So I'll keep posting videos about testing, functional testing, performance testing, okay, IWS. So if you have any queries, please do post me, please do provide your comments so that we'll discuss it. And yeah, I'm just providing my contact details as well, my Gmail account and my contact details. You can approach me at any time. So that because I'm taking some online classes as well, you can join those classes if you are interested to learn, because I'm going to coach you interviews wise as well. Okay, interviewers, so what they're expecting exactly, because I do have experience in interviewing the people. So I have attended so many interviews before getting job, and then as an experienced tester, I have interviewed some people also. So what exactly interviewers expecting about testing, performance and functional, I can able to help you guys. Okay, even on that you may ask me the questions. Definitely, if you contact me, definitely I'm going to help you for your bright future. Thank you so much. Have a nice day, guys.